The number of school children falling ill after eating food bought from Spaza shops and hawkers is deeply concerning. A grade 3 pupil in Tsepisong on the West Rand died after eating biscuits from a local shop yesterday. And just a day before that, over 60 children had to receive medical attention in similar circumstances. So the question is, so what are some of the plans to prevent more incidents from occurring, especially in schools? I'm joined now by the Gauteng Education Spokesperson, Steve Mabona. Good afternoon to you, Steve, and thank you so much for joining us. Just your reaction to what has transpired in the last couple of weeks pertaining to young children eating poisonous food and food that has led to their demise.
Good afternoon, Cindy, and to all our viewers. Yes, it's quite concerning from the department perspective, and we are quite actually encouraged by what we are seeing now in the city of Joburg, where they are, inspecting some of the Spaza shops. We will be working with all other municipalities to say, let's do the same thing, so that we then remove anything that might harm our children. So it's quite encouraging what is happening in the city of Johannesburg, and we'll work very closely with all the other municipalities, because it's for authorities to do what is expected of them, monitor and remove anything that will harm our children, will also harm anyone that would have been exposed to, because it's not only children that are exposed to these products, adults as well. They might be, sick. And so if this intervention continues, then it will yield really positive results, because we have launched a safety plan 3 weeks ago. We were focusing on the safety element, be it crime that is happening in around our schools. And we felt that we really need to probably go to the Spazas and the street vendors and make sure that there's compliance in and around our schools. So we are quite encouraged by what we are seeing, and we will encourage all other municipalities to do the same.
Yeah, but Steve, I mean, the safety program comes a tad bit late for families who are bereaved and have lost their children. And now the plans seem more reactionary than something that had been thought through before. What was in place to ensure that there is basic health and safety compliance with these Spaza shops?
No, but remember, it's not in our purview. We felt that because we are affected dearly because of these ailments that we see in and our schools, and in many learners are affected. So hence we felt that we really need to go closer and expand on what we would have planned. Because remember, our plan revolved around us making sure that our schools are safe by providing the guards that we are going to provide, making sure that we have CCTV cameras in and around our schools. But all these incidents are happening, en route. Like learners are exposed to this thing en route to our schools. So it's more of a society matter. And hence we felt that if nothing was happening, we will then have to make sure that we expand the element of that safety to say, let's secure safety of our children before they arrive in our schools. And we have stakeholders already. We work with community safety, social development, Department of Health, and we felt that we must bring then the municipalities also to play a role in making sure that we then go and check on most especially the street vendors that are operating in and around our schools, and those Spaza shops that are in and around our schools, so that we then remove anything that might harm our children. So it's not reactionary from the department perspective. It's an addition to what we have planned to do because of these problems that we are seeing now.
Yeah, and what contributes to the problem, Steve? Because, I mean, growing up in Guatemala Springs, going to Canon Rakale Primary School, we always had vendors. There were, ladies selling all sorts and manner of snacks to children, but you hardly ever heard of any fatalities. So what had gone wrong?
We will not go into that. Safe to say that authorities need to assist us and make sure that we understand on what happened, because if we allow food that is expired to be sold, then it means there's a problem. And we need to make sure that we attend to that problem. And if we remove that is bad from the shelves, then probably we are dealing with the problem. But if we don't do that, then we're going to be sitting with a lot of problems, on our hands. So we can't say what happened, but we can say now that we are here, we need to make sure that we don't have any more fatalities. We don't have any learners that will be rushed to a clinic and subsequently some of them, they perish in a clinic or they then are rushed to a hospital. So it's a situation that we don't want to see. And we have already identified where this problem is. So we'll assist the authorities to say, in the schooling population, this is where some of the challenges are experienced. So we empower them with information and make sure that we know where we're going when we want to expand. For us, as a department, we'll improve on our advocacy, talking more to children and parents to say, these are the things that are happening in your space. Avoid this and that, and make sure that children are safe at all times. So those are the things that we will be focusing on as a department. But we are quite happy about what is happening now in the space of the city of Johannesburg.
Just before we let you go, very briefly, what are some of the key problems or challenges that you've encountered, as you said, or identified in the value chain to the point where these, foods now make it to the shelves? What are some of the challenges that you've identified?
No, the food that is not supposed to be sold. That's the premise. That's what we are seeing, because you can't be sick from food that does not have any problem or challenge thereof. So we can see that there's an element of staleness, there's an element of food that has been on shelves for probably, many days or months, which is not supposed to be there. Or probably there's a problem in terms of manufacturing, or packaging of the food. As we might have seen some of the videos where people are depicted, in a backroom setup, manufacturing food or packaging food, which is unhealthy. So if you eat anything that has been contaminated, you might respond to that, because, health practitioners will tell you any contamination, it doesn't matter on what, it will then have a severe impact on you after consuming it. So those are the things that we are depicting. Hence, we are saying we'll impart the information so that the law enforcement or authorities are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
All right, thanks indeed for your time. That's Gauteng Education Spokesperson Steve Mabona, just reacting to what is also currently underway, the raids in Spaza shops in and around Soweto and the greater part of Gauteng. Families and communities very concerned about the quality of food that is sold in these premises.